Leaf fans, what's up? Shout out Leafs Nation. Things are looking good, right? This team's playing well. I have to say that I like what I'm seeing. Start of the season was a little shaky, and honestly, things are still up in the air. I think until this team gets to the playoffs, because you just don't know. You just don't know. At the end of the day, it comes down to the core four. They've been looking good since Austin came back. I want to talk about Austin's injury a little. He's so right. Why are people so nosy and in the guy's business about his injury? They adhered to NHL rules where he talked about as much about his injury as he wanted to. Leave it there. Like Toronto media, the hockey media, find something else to talk about. Like, there's so much to talk about this team. What's going on with Marner? Should Tavares be a second line center? Should Fraser Minton just stay up? Personally, that kid should be not be looking back at the AHL at all. I don't even know why this is even a topic. How, like, you want this team to develop and grow vibes? You see the vibes that's going on with the Leafs right now? That's because you have young talent like him up there. Keep him up there and still make a run at Nazem Kadri. Then you won't have a David Camp problem at all. You slot in Naz on the third line, put Frazier on the fourth line, boom. You guys are set for the playoffs. You guys need secondary scoring in the playoffs. And a team that can handle the. You can't put David Camp out there in the playoffs. The man's not going to score. Like, what kind of fourth line can Berube run if that's your fourth line center? Listen, let Frazier play the entire season. By the time the playoffs comes, he's not a rookie anymore. And as it is, he's showing his high IQ for hockey, for the game. You can see he's going to the right places. Shots go to the net, he's finding the spots. That's how he's gotten 2 goals. Let these kids play, man. I just don't understand how the Toronto media again drives these narratives. Like, who else do you guys want? You guys, okay, send Fraser back, and okay, then you want to complain about the lack of production from Max Domi and David Camp. Tough luck. If they can't produce, the guys who are producing, let them play. Plain and simple, man. Those are the guys who are going to get you guys through the playoffs. It's not going to be relying on the same things that don't work. That's been the problem for 8 years. Let's go, man. Let's Toronto media, don't you guys poke into what's wrong with Austin? Why was he out for 2, 3, 4 weeks, whatever it was? And yeah, you guys are being nosy. Let the guy be. Let him go about his treatment plan. Find other things to talk about, other aspects of the team. Again, Marner. This should be a topic. I saw yesterday again his contract up in the air. How much is he gonna make? Is he gonna ask for 13, 14 million, or should they just bring in 3 guys instead that can get you over the top? Like, fill out a better winger. You need one more center if you're not gonna use Frazier right away, which you should be. Like, come on, man. It's not hard to figure out. You guys got yourself into these cap gymnastics. Get yourself out. Don't complain that you guys are up against the cap now when you guys put yourself there. And I know it's not tree living. Kyle Dubas kind of screwed him, but tree living in 2 years, I mean, you've kind of made some waves on the. I'll give you the defensive and goalie. The defensive and goalie part of the game, Brad Tree living. Great job. Fixed it up right away. Leaf fans, we already know how much of a problem this was. Now, the secondary scoring, I'm telling you, I'm not saying it's an easy problem to fix, but I think there's ways around it, and the Toronto media needs to stop humming and hawing and just realize that there can be things done pretty quickly, or at some point in time when the time comes, things can be done. The other thing I want to talk about is this whole thing with Anthony Stolarz and the sunglasses. Again, why is this a problem? Like, why for Toronto media who are saying, "Oh, I don't like it." I saw on Overdrive yesterday. I'm not going to name the guy, but come on, man. Like, you're really thinking that this should affect him, even if a portion of the fan base comes out and says, "Oh, you shouldn't have been wearing the sunglasses." Listen, that's a portion of the fan base no one should be paying attention to. If they're actually pointing out that Anthony Stolarz, if he starts to struggle, it's because he was wearing sunglasses after a game that were given to him as he was coming out as the first star. They were techie sunglasses at that. Listen, you guys want to add technology to the game and be techie forward, give it a rest. The sunglasses had nothing to do with nothing. And if he goes on a slump, which who knows if he even will, then trust in the guy's process to get out of it. He's the NHL goalie for a reason. The portion of the fan base that would even say that, why is that portion of the fan base even getting any type of publicity at all? It shouldn't. This is the fraction of the fan base that we don't want. It happens with the Raptors. It happens with the Leafs. It happens all over Toronto. Toronto media, you guys really need to. I don't know. I think you guys are the ones who are too old school, man. Get with the times. How are you guys the ones representing Toronto media on TV, and that's what you have to say? Like, get with it. It's a pair of sunglasses, man. Randy Moss wore sunglasses on NFL Countdown the other day. Like, what's the problem here? I really don't understand, man. Jeez. Leafs, I like what I'm seeing. I like how you guys are winning games. I know you guys have those hiccups. Like, teams like Florida and Boston, you guys really need to come with a different game plan. I don't know what it is. It seems like it's more mental than anything. To me, a guy like Nazem Kadri would totally change that, because now it switches up the dynamic with that rap Brad Marchand. Again, I like what I'm seeing, but I'm not just going to hand it to you like the rest of the Toronto media. I'm a nobody. I don't have a big audience at all, but, I've been a fan of the team since I was a kid, which is like 40 years now. I've been watching this team for 40 years. Believe me, I've seen every team from the Brophy era, the Pat Burns era, the Pat Quinn era, every coach since Pat Quinn. I can remember back to a lot of good and bad times in Leafs history. And listen, I'm not just going to hand it to the Leafs just because they have four amazing talents. They have to prove it in the playoffs. And I think the thing is, with those four guys, they can do it. But I think a lot of it has to do with that third and fourth line secondary scoring. It has nothing to do with physicality anymore. They have that. They've shown that they're going to be ready to back their guys going into scrums. Craig Berube has changed that from Sheldon Keefe. It's obvious. But now, let Frazier play. Bring in a guy like Nas. You want that secondary scoring, it has to be something like that. And Brad Trey Living, I have trust in you. Brendan Shanahan, whatever. Yeah, Leafs, you guys can do it. I believe in you guys.